Okay, all right. Okay, well, hello and welcome back to school. Happy Monday. It's April 1. No jokes or pranks for you guys, but I hope you had a good spring break. Anyway, let's talk. So I just published the course last night. Thanks for your patience. And this first thing is, so I have the syllabus. The syllabus keeps growing in length. This one's at 9 pages and it has its own table of contents. But anyway, well, the table of contents is helpful, right? You're like, oh, okay, when do we have this? Okay, so this is the plan. I might need to make some updates. Okay, just a final exam. That's it. Okay. So you have textbooks, the grading, view quizzes. All right. You know what? Let's just dive in. Let's get started here. I'm gonna post all of my notes. Everything is going to go into my GitHub repository. Okay, so follow this. This should take you to here, and you can download the lecture from here for now. Okay, and I will teach you at least how to set up Git. A little bit of a basic thing that will come in our next lecture. Okay. And we'll work from there. So as far as topics that I want to cover, it's mostly Python, but a little bit. We're going to start off with Git in the beginning, Git and GitHub, and so everybody will create a GitHub repository, GitHub account. And then we're going to cover a bunch of kind of Python stuff, basics of Python. And for that, we're going to use this textbook called Think Python. And then we'll get into data stuff with pandas. Pandas is a package that we use to interact with data. And then we'll also just do a tiny bit of data visualization. And week 10 we'll see what happens. Okay, right now I have fitting models with scikit-learn. Maybe it's really not enough time to do anything, so maybe we'll just do like one thing. Maybe I'll throw in a tiny bit of SQL. We'll see what we're able to do. Okay, but anyway, let's start here. Welcome. Okay, let's see. Must and please read the syllabus. Okay, yeah. So your first homework assignment is to sign this academic integrity agreement that just basically says I'm going to do my own work. I'm not going to cheat. Okay. My classes this quarter are at 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. It seems to be what happens every quarter these days. I'm getting used to it now. I would not consider myself a morning person, but here I am teaching to 8 a.m. and 9 a.m.s. So that's what we have. If you don't make it to class live, watch the video. I'm going to do lecture view quizzes. I'll explain how that works. That's what we have. Okay, office hours. Office hours is the preferred method of communication. I'm not good at email. Okay, I'm not good at email. I say that just like I'm not proud, but I have to admit it. If you send me an email, you might get a response. It might come a few days. It's what is it? It's like an exponential distribution. Okay, you might get a quick response. You might get a response a day later. You might get a response a week later. You might never get a response. Okay, right? So yeah, it's worse than an exponential distribution. It's like Weibull, all right, okay? Um, but anyway, the office hours, you'll get a quick response, okay? So come to office hours. I got office hours Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, also Saturday, okay? I know sometimes you have class during those things, so but come when you can. I'll be able to resolve. If you need an extension, I can grant you an extension if something's going on. If you want privacy, I could set up a breakout room. Office hours is the, I would say, if you need a quick response, come to office hours. If you have a question about, like, I don't understand, why something is this, something related to the subject matter, I would say post on CampusWire, and then you've got your classmates who can answer your questions on CampusWire. You'll probably get a better response from there, okay? This is kind of our grade breakdown. I'm going to assign homework via data camp and also homework in lectures. So did you guys get a data camp invitation? I think I sent them out last night. So here's this is very important, okay? The email that I invited to data camp is whatever shows up on my UCLA roster, okay? So that's whatever you have. Some of you've registered, Joe Bruin at ucla.edu, and some of you registered Joe Bruin at g.ucla.edu, okay? Those are totally different email addresses. And you might be using, you might normally log in via something at g.ucla.edu, but what's registered at my UCLA is the one that ends with at ucla.edu, or vice versa, or something like that, okay? You have to use the correct email address when you create your account, when you accept the invitation, create your account on CampusWire. Because if you use a different email address, all right, even if it's the same, even g.ucla and at UCLA, those data camp doesn't understand or know how our campus works, and has no idea that those are the same people. To them, those are two completely different email addresses, okay? And so the invitation gives you access to DataCamp's premium content, which I think is like $30 a month, and you get 6 months of access. So it's a nice gift from DataCamp. But they don't just want to give it away for free. So, I mean, they are giving it away for free, but they don't want to give it away to anybody. And so you have to use the email address that I invited. And so if you created an account and you're not able to see the premium content or something, you probably used the wrong email address. Same thing with CampusWire. I invited whatever shows up in the roster, and you might already have a CampusWire account, but with a different email address. And so when you log in, you're like, I can't see the class, all right? Probably you're using the wrong email address. So you might have to create another CampusWire account or something like that. Okay, so that's very important. Just make sure you use the correct email address. I grade on a straight scale. No curving of grades. Don't ask me to round your grade. That's just that. Okay. I don't take attendance in the traditional way. I do like seeing you here. It makes me happy to see all of these students. But oh, you're fine. But yeah, in the past, I guess teaching the class at 8 a.m. or 9 a.m., what often happened is towards the end of the quarter, I would have like less than 10% attendance, which always, like, I gotta be honest, it hurts my feelings a little bit. But I don't know, you guys are keeping up with the material. So anyway, the way I do, I'm gonna do this is, I'm gonna do lecture view quizzes. And so in the module, you have the week 1 Monday lecture view quiz, and you'll come here, and then question 1 The first answer is E. E as an elephant, so you'll want to jot this down somewhere, okay? First question is E. And then I will give you the other two answers during the rest of the lecture, okay? And that's how it's going to go. Now, I'm going to try something a little bit different this quarter, and I think I might not give all of the answers in the video, okay? So, so if you don't attend live, you can watch the video, keep up with the content. You'll get some of the view quiz answers, but you might not get all of them, okay? And so the last one, or whatever, one of the answers you might have to guess, or you might just leave and say, I didn't get, I don't know the answer, or something like that, okay? And that will be my, I guess, the motivation to you to help you attend class, okay? Again, you know, if you'd rather sleep in, you know, I'm not going to be mad at you, but you'll miss out on a point, okay? Just 1 point out of however many points these lecture view quizzes are worth each, okay? But the first one is E today, and that's what we'll do, okay? But yeah, I like seeing you guys, okay? It's that's what we have. Okay. Oh, view quizzes are only open until a short amount of time. They close before the next lecture. So the next lecture is Wednesday, and it closes before then. Okay, so make sure you respond to your view quiz before that. Okay, data camp. You should have gotten an invitation. We talked about this. I will assign a few either chapters from a course, and you complete them. So the way data camp works, though, they only have 3 statuses: completed, completed late, or didn't complete. Okay, and so you know you don't have this, like, I don't know. So anyway, make sure after you complete the thing, it says completed. Now, sometimes it takes like, I don't know, an hour for it to the final, like on, I think on data camp you have like a dashboard or something. It might take a bit of time after you complete the course for it to like update on your dashboard, but make sure it updates, okay? Generally, I'll record data camp scores, I don't know, a week after they are due. So, you know, you have, so I think the first set of homework on data camp is due this Friday, and I'll probably record them next Friday or something. And so if you've completed it, you know, just make sure that you got credit for it. And if you don't complete it by next Friday, it will go in as missing, which is a 0. You really don't want to get a 0, so just complete it late. If you complete it late, you lose a few points, okay? And that's what you have. Data camp also does these like certificates of completion. So I'll generally assign just a couple chapters from a course. A course is usually maybe 4 or 5 chapters. It's up to you if you want to complete the rest of it. You know, I know you have so much spare time. But I don't know, you get these little certificates of completion, and I was joking about you having so much spare time. And I don't know if anybody cares about data camp certificates of completion, but you can get them. And there might be subjects that you're interested in that I'm not going to cover, and you can look them up. I think data camp's a pretty good resource, and you actually get 6 months of access. So even after this class ends, you get an additional 3 months. I think I registered for this thing like March 25th, so it will go from what? March, so September 25th, I think will be your expiration, September 24th, something around there. Okay. Anyway, that's available there. Okay. Then we'll also have regular homework assignments. I'm going to post these Jupyter notebooks, IPython notebooks, IPyNB, and you will do your homework in Jupyter, or I guess you could use VS Code or something, some kind of notebook interface, and you'll render or export your notebook as a PDF, and you'll upload your PDF to Gradescope. When you upload to Gradescope, this is really important, tag your pages, okay? So this is, do not submit one giant page. Sometimes you can export a notebook as like an HTML or something, and it's just like one giant scrolling thing, okay? Gradescope does not play well with one giant thing. It wants pages. It wants letter size sheets, okay? Or A4 or whatever, okay? It wants these things. So make sure you export it as a PDF that has pages, not one giant thing that scrolls, okay? And then once you have those pages, make sure you tag the problems on each page. So you say, this problem number 1 is on, pages 1 and 2, and problem number 2 is on pages 2, 3, and 4, and problem 3 is on pages 5 and 6, or whatever it is, okay? Make sure you tag your pages, because when the grader goes through and grades assignments, Gradescope is going to just say, hey, no problems were tagged, or no pages were tagged, and you're just going to get a 0, because that's how it shows up. The way Gradescope does it doesn't show you the name of the student or anything. It just says, this is the page, this is the output, what is the grade you assign? And so make sure you tag your pages. If you're like right at the deadline, okay, it's like due at 6 p.m. or something, Gradescope will not count it late. If you upload it at 5:59 and it takes you 10 minutes to tag the pages, it goes off the upload time. So if you upload at 5:59, that is on time, okay? You take 10 minutes to tag your pages, and it's finally done at whatever, 6:09, that's not late, okay? It goes off of the upload time. So don't just be like, oh, 5:59, I got to get it submitted, and then I don't want to tag my pages because I need to get it before 6 p.m. It's fine. You got to upload it at 5:59. It is on time. You take 10 minutes, however long you need to tag your pages. Make sure you tag your pages though, okay? Otherwise you're gonna get to 0 on those problems, and that's like, why did I even bother with the homework, okay? If you need an extension, you can include documentation. We'll grant you extensions. You can come talk to me. We'll give you an extension, okay? That's it. All right. This is the list of topics I'm hoping to cover. There's kind of a bunch of Python stuff, which I think is the point, right? We wanted to learn Python, okay? I don't know. Did anyone here take Pick 16? Oh, okay, that's good. All right, because this class like overlaps too much with Pick 16, all right? So Pick 16A is because there's like the Pick series, which is like programming and stuff. And so Pick 10A, I think, is C++ and things like that. And Pick 16A is Python. And in the past, sometimes I would get students who've taken Pick 16A, and it's like the same class, all right? And for whatever reason, I don't know, our departments don't want to give credits to each other's things. So they don't want to give credit to Pick 16A, and they don't want to give credit to Stats21 for, so it's whatever. But it's like, I guess it's a little bit different depending on which professor you take. But I know some professors who taught Pick 16A have basically taught almost the exact same stuff I'm doing. And so, yeah, it's just unfortunate. I think we're trying to avoid the issue of people taking both of these things. Okay, I got to talk a little bit about academic integrity and plagiarism. My apologies to those of you who are in my 102B lecture. You're going to hear the same thing that I said then. And if you've taken a class with me before, you've heard this lecture many a times. But I want to say it because I think it's good to be reminded that this is why you're here at university and why you're here to learn, okay? Well, I don't know. The university is a kind of a weird thing, all right? Because there's a few different major functions of a university. One is teaching undergraduate students, you guys, okay? And I'm happy to be part of that function, okay? And the other is like to do research and like advance the frontiers of human knowledge, okay? And it sounds like a lofty thing, but truly, you have scientists making discoveries and doing all kinds of stuff. Some of them make the news, and it's exciting, and other things these are much smaller discoveries that perhaps nobody outside of their field really cares about, but really they are advancing what we know, as I guess as humanity, what we know about the universe and things. And so and those are your research professors and things like that. But you guys are here as undergraduate students to learn, and you come to UCLA, and UCLA, I'm so proud to work here, and I hope you guys are proud to attend this school. And I was just walking. I get wistful sometimes. Just walking from the parking structure to here, I'm like, man, this is a beautiful campus. It's like, oh, public affairs building is so far away, but oh, you know what? It's not so bad. This walk to over here. You're like passing the sculptures and things like that. You're like, oh yeah, you know what? This is a nice place to be. So, anyway, what am I talking? Plagiarism? Okay. You guys are here to learn, okay? That's you're taking this class to learn about Python and to be able to code, to do Python coding, and I am presuming is because after you graduate, you want to find a job at some point, and maybe that job is going to require Python. Okay, a lot of jobs want Python as a skill, and so you want to be able to do that stuff. Okay, and so the homework, all of this stuff, I assign with the goal of helping you learn how to code, how to do Python and stuff. Okay. Some of these things are intended to be challenging. All right. This is it's Stats21. So what I don't. It's technically counted as a lower division class. So it's if you've taken like my upper div classes, I don't know. These coding assignments might be easier, but they're not they're not intended to be easy. Okay. They're intended to be a bit of a challenge. Okay. And then the truth is you could find the answers to all of these things if you search. All right, on the internet, they probably have answers to a lot of these things out there. Okay, and now we have these AI tools where you could type in, you could copy and paste my homework prompt, put it into ChatGPT, and it will probably spit out a correct answer. Okay, but don't do that. Okay, because that's not going to help you learn. In that, I like to compare this to going to the gym. When you go to the gym to lift weights, the point of lifting the weights is lifting the weights yourself. Okay, it is not that we want the weights lifted up off the ground. Okay, if we wanted the weights lifted off the ground, we could hire somebody and say, pick these weights up for me. Okay, that's what you do when you move out of out of your apartment. If you can afford it, you get some movers, or you get some friends who pick up the couches and the heavy things and they move them for you. Okay, but the point of going to the gym is that you lift them yourself, and that process of lifting yourself, that struggle that you have in lifting the weights, makes you stronger. Okay, and the same goes with coding. All right, when you struggle writing the code, or when you see this thing and you go, I don't know where to begin, and you have to think. And you have to think about, how do I break this down into an easier task? What is something I do know how to do? Can I start there? That struggle is going to make your brain stronger eventually, okay? If you don't do it yourself, right? If you go to the gym and you say, man, these weights look heavy, I don't want to lift them. Can somebody else lift the weights for me? You aren't going to get the benefit of lifting them yourself, right? that person or the AI or the machine is going to do the work for you. You miss out on the benefit. Okay, when you ask the AI to write code for you, you don't get the benefit of the struggle. Okay, the struggle is what's going to force your brain to form new connections, and those new connections are what make you a stronger coder. If you ask the AI tool to come up with the answer for you, and you say, "Oh, here's the answer. I read it and it makes sense to me. Therefore, I've learned," that's not going to help. Okay. So the way we learn things is we struggle with them, and then when we sleep, our brain forms new neuron connections, and then those new neuron connections allows us to kind of do more, right? So when you struggle with something and then later on it clicks, okay, what has happened is that your brain has formed a new kind of neural pathway. In the beginning, when you're struggling, the neurons are like trying, taking this long kind of path from, the signals from one part going to another part of your brain. It's taking a long path and it's a struggle, okay? And that's why it's tough. But then your brain says, hey, you know what, let's form some new pathways. And it does form a new pathway. And then, that task which used to be a struggle is now easier for you, okay? And that's how it goes, okay? Similar, to like working out at the gym. You work out your muscles, they get tired, you struggle, you come back stronger, okay? Same kind of thing here, all right? You need to experience a little bit of struggle as you're coding. If you only do things that are easy for you, your brain isn't gonna decide to make new pathways. Why would it, right? It costs energy and to do that, and if it doesn't need to, it's not going to, okay? So anyway, as far as plagiarism goes, I have to just appeal to your sense of wanting to learn, not to plagiarize. It's like, if there's like really obvious cases of plagiarism, sure, I will pursue it and I will, report it to the dean and things like that. But, now with all of the tools available to you, it's really hard to kind of catch and prove beyond a reasonable doubt that somebody cheated or something like that. So the truth is you might be able to get away with a lot of these things, okay? But if you cheat and get away with it, what has happened? What you're not going to be able to like trick is your own learning, okay? And if you rely too much on a tool, you're not going to be able to function without it. And so, if you need to prove that you can do code and stuff at the job, you want to learn this yourself, okay? How many view quiz answers have I given you? Just one. Okay, I will give you your second one, which is the letter C. C as in cat. C as in cat is your second view quiz answer. Okay, as far as collaborating, I want you guys to do your own homework, okay? Please do your own homework. If you have struggle and you have questions, you can go on Campus Wire and you can say, hey, what was the approach you took to this problem? Or, what is, how can I get started on this thing? Just don't ask don't copy your code and don't write code as part of your answers on Campus Wire. There's a lot of ways you can answer questions without sharing code. You can say, you know what, for this thing I used a for loop, okay? For this I used, I created a helper function that outputs this or something like that. There's a lot of ways you can help things without writing code out yourself. Any of the code examples you see in lecture, though, you can kind of talk about those. You can say, hey, why are we getting this output in this code example? You can put that onto Campus Wire. That's fine. Okay. All right. This is I do this spiel every class, and so if you've taken multiple classes with me, you've heard this multiple times. But I do want to share this. I like to talk about grades in life. This was an important thing for me. So number one, your grades do not define you. Okay, you're here at UCLA, and it gets tougher and tougher and tougher to be admitted to UCLA every year. Again, I think I think this year's freshman admit rates came out. It's like 8.9% or something like that. It's really, really tough. I think the CS program is like 3 point something percent admit rate. Really. So, the fact that you're here, good job, okay? Good job. You should be proud of that. And yeah, like it's an honor to be here, truly. Before teaching at UCLA, I've taught at other schools, and the students aren't as good as you guys, okay? You guys, even in every class, there's a student who feels like, man, I'm like the dumbest person here, and that's okay. You're still pretty great, okay? Anyway, your grades do not define you, okay? Your grades do not define you. You got here. Probably in high school you had really good grades, or in community college you had really good grades before you transferred here. And so, grades were important as far as getting into UCLA, all right? And if you're planning on going to grad school, grades certainly do play a role to grad school admissions. I'm not going to downplay that, but that is not the end all for you, okay? Grades do not define you. I'll share this story about myself, and sorry if you've already heard this. In high school, I worked hard to get good grades, and my senior year, I applied to colleges, and around this time, my senior year, I don't know, that's got to be 20-something years ago now. I got an admission letter to Caltech, California Institute of Technology, and that was my dream school. I thought I was gonna work for NASA or something, JPL. I was really excited. I still have a very soft spot. I still love space and NASA, and and I just got a tour of JPL last year, and it was really exciting. And then anyway, unrelated. Oh, next Monday, sorry, you're going to get a pre-recorded lecture because I'm going to be traveling to chase the eclipse, okay? So hopefully we have good weather. I'm flying to Arkansas. It's passing over Arkansas. I mean, it's passing over from Texas to, I don't know, New York and stuff. So I'm traveling to Arkansas. I'm worried about the weather. But hopefully we can see the eclipse. Did you guys see the eclipse 7 years ago in 2017 or anything? Okay, yes, maybe. Path of totality? Path of totality, anybody? Oh, okay, all right. I gotta say, once in your life, so the next one that's gonna come over the United States is gonna be in 2045 or something, okay? 20 years from now. Make the effort to go to the path of totality, okay? If you're not in the path of totality, it is not the same. Path of totality, I don't know. It's life-changing isn't the right word, but it's just incredible. It's like this thing, this orb in the sky that you're not allowed to look at, but gives all life and energy. Suddenly is blocked out by the moon. Anyway, okay, whatever. What am I saying? Grades don't define you. Okay. Oh, so anyway, I got into Caltech. I was so excited. I had this dream of studying science and physics, and but anyway, it was and I moved out. I lived in the dorms, and I think maybe just Caltech is a tough school. I also didn't have the structure of being at home, living in the dorms. It probably had a little too much freedom at that time. Anyway, I didn't do great. Okay, my fall quarter, I got my first C ever, and I thought, oh my gosh, I've never gotten a C before. And then winter quarter, I got my first D ever, and yeah, they were also in quarter system. And then spring quarter, everything fell apart. I failed multiple classes. I was put on academic probation. They said, if when you come back in the fall, your GPA needs to be up to here, otherwise we're going to kick you out. and no, like in the fall, winter, or spring quarter, never was my GPA as high as it needed to be. And so I thought, like, how am I ever going to achieve this thing when like my personal best was down here? And yeah, I had, and I became depressed during that time just because I had tied so much of my identity, who I was, I had tied to my grades. In high school, I didn't go out to, I didn't party much. I wasn't a star athlete. I had my own kind of nerdy set of friends, and what we valued were like our grades, and it was like, it's fine. I don't have all of this other stuff, but I have good grades, and therefore I'm valuable as a human. And when I got to Caltech and all of my grades, went to crap, I felt like as a human, I had lost my value. And so, because I had tied so much of myself to that. And, I'm grateful. My father was very supportive, and he said, it's okay. It's not worth it. And the idea of like holding on to this dream of going to your dream school and whatnot, it wasn't worth it. So I dropped out. I stopped attending Caltech, and then I transferred to an engineering school in Michigan, Flint, Michigan, of all places. And I studied industrial engineering there. And I think kind of the change in scenery, I think change in atmosphere, different kind of things. I mean, also the classes were easier than they were at Caltech. I did a lot better, and things. I mean, I'm here now, and things kind of worked out. But I had to go through that painful experience to detach my identity from my grades. I had to learn kind of this tough lesson that, yeah, my grades do not define me. I define my value as a person, not from, I guess, my academic achievements or even now my professional achievements, but I find my value as a person through kind of my relationships and my faith, and just being able to, I don't know, I guess, contribute to the world in ways other than just good grades or job or something. Okay. And I don't want you guys to have to go through the same kind of painful experience that I had to go through. But I do want you to be able to kind of take that lesson of separating your identity from, I guess, your achievements, right? And that's going to, maybe you already have a healthy relationship with grades. Maybe some of you don't have quite a good, healthy relationship with your grades. So anyway, all I want to say is your grades do not define you, and that's that. Okay. I like to talk about work-life balance as well. And this is going to be, I think, something that you will have to face and wrestle with for the rest of your life. Right now, you're in school, and so school consumes a lot of time. But, once you graduate, there's going to be other things always kind of vying for your time and energy. It might be career, it might be family, it might be, certain people and things like that. There's going to be always throughout your life things that demand and want your attention, want your resources and energy. And you can't give 100% to all of these things. Broadly speaking, I say there are 3 broad categories where we can put our energies and time. That's work, relationships, and self. Work includes everything like actual work, jobs, career, internships, things like that. Also your school and academics, any other kind of professional obligations, that goes under that category. There's relationships. You got relationships with families, friends, maybe a romantic partner, any other kind of social obligations you have. And then you have, taking care of yourself, which includes your physical health, things like eating well and exercising and sleeping, taking care of your mental health, which is, includes sleeping, but also, anything fun and things that you do to lift, make yourself kind of happy and entertained and things like that. Spiritual health in terms of like, maybe that ties in with mental health, but, especially if you're spiritual or religious, you see that as something a little bit different. But again, only 24 hours in a day. You can't give 100%. to all of these things. And so, work-life balance, it's not about being able to figure out how to give 100% to all of these things. You're not going to give 100% to all of these things. Work-life balance is about picking what's important to you and dedicating your time and energy there, and then just being content with the choices you've made. Okay? If you feel like you don't have choice over where your energy goes, like you keep giving too much to work against your own will, that is poor work-life balance, right? If you have a job where you have a boss that keeps demanding things from you or something, and you keep saying yes, and they takes all of your time and energy, and you have nothing left for anything else, and it's not how you like it, yeah, that is poor work-life balance. Okay. I think you can be happy and content when you're able to choose where you want to give your time and energy, and understand that the more time and energy you put into one thing, the things that you put less time and energy into, those things naturally will not flourish as much. Okay? So generally what happens is you put time and energy into this part of your life flourishes. You put less time and energy into something over here, this part of your life does not flourish. Okay? And if you can be okay with that, and you say, yeah, you know what? I haven't been putting as much time and energy over here, and this part of my life isn't growing that much. And if you're okay with that, I think you can achieve work-life balance. Okay? And so, in general, the more you put into something, the more you're going to get out. A silly example I say is like, one day you might be involved with a romantic partner, okay? And so, maybe you have your original group of friends, and then, you meet somebody, you get involved in a romantic relationship, and so now you start putting a ton of time into that romantic relationship. And so that aspect of your life is growing and flourishing. But now you're not putting in as much time into your original group of friends. And so now you're not as close as you were to your original group of friends. And one day your kind of friend group might go off and do something and not invite you. And suddenly, it might feel hostile, but I don't think it's necessary that, they're jealous or angry with you for not spending as much time with them. But just because you haven't been spending as much time, you're just not going to be as close as you used to be. Okay. But you can say, you know what, I'm okay not being as close as I am to them, because you know what, now I have this romantic relationship that is bringing me a lot of joy, and I'm happy with that. Okay. Sometimes things don't work out and you feel like, oh man, I wasted all of this time and energy, but that's also life. But that's I think that's how we can kind of make choices and be happy and content with the natural consequences of those choices. Okay. Same thing, as far as work goes, when you have a career and things like that, you can choose to dedicate a ton of time to the office and career, and you will likely climb kind of that corporate ladder a little bit faster that way. All right, and if that's important to you, that's great. Okay, climbing the corporate ladder, kind of can reap benefits and rewards in terms of like pay and promotions and things like that. But that might come at the cost of neglecting other aspects of your life. Okay, you might have a romantic partner who feels like they don't want to be with you anymore because you're more dedicated to the job than you are to your romantic partner, or things like that. Okay, these are choices that you have to make. Or you can say, you know what, I want to spend more time with my friends or whatever than I am climbing the corporate ladder, and you just have to be okay with not climbing the corporate ladder. Okay, and these are choices. If you expect to get 100, have 100% everywhere, you're going to just burn yourself out and not be happy anywhere. Make choices and be happy with the consequences of the choices, okay? Taking care of yourself is important. Make sure you sleep and take care of your physical health. That is important. These are not just platitudes that we like to say, okay? Sometimes that means not completing your homework to 100%, okay? You might say, in this moment, it is more important that I get sleep and rest. Or in this moment, it's more important that I am a good friend to, my friend in need, okay? And I'm not going to take time to work on my homework, or I'm not going to be able to finish my homework. And the natural consequences of that is you submit a homework that's halfway done, and you get half of the points, okay? And be okay with the choices that you make, okay? This last slide, I just say, hey, you know what? Be aware of fruitless entertainment. Sometimes there's things that we do just to kind of like numb our brains. Sometimes there's a lot of apps that are designed so you can just kind of scroll forever and lose track of time. Games that have this very kind of quick replay loop that gives you tiny little hits of dopamine every time you complete a cycle, and it just keeps going and going and going, doesn't give you an opportunity to kind of stop. And it's easy to kind of start this thing at like 10 p.m. and then before you know it, it's 2 a.m. and you go, where did all of this time go? Just be aware of things like that in your life. The point of entertainment, and I think entertainment and play are so important. Watch TV, read a book, play a game, go hiking, play video games. I love doing all of these things. But the point of these things is that after you're done, you should be in better spirits and better mood, and feel a little bit more refreshed, more ready to kind of take on, work and things like that. But I think some of these activities and stuff, sometimes they consume a ton of your time, but then after you're done, you just kind of feel crummy afterwards, okay? And I think these things are not beneficial in your life, and you just want to kind of, I would say, limit your time and exposure to some of these activities. And some of you probably already know what it is specifically in your life that maybe you should limit or whatever. Others of you, maybe you have healthy relationships. For me, I don't know, a few years back, I deleted my Facebook and Instagram accounts and stuff. This was like after the data scandal where there's like, they're selling all of your information. You know what? I'm aware that everybody's selling my information. But anyway, I deleted Facebook and Instagram, and you know what? I actually don't miss it. So I'm on Reddit maybe a little bit too much now. Like something else filled that void. But anyway, just be mindful and selective about your entertainment activities. Go have fun, do your entertainment stuff, but also hopefully they are things that make your life better. So last view quiz answer, letter C as in cat. We'll end here. Have a great rest of your day. No office hours today. I will see you guys on Wednesday. And we'll wrap it there. Yeah, question.
There's discussion today?
Is there discussion today? I don't know. There's discussion scheduled. I don't know. Maybe. Sorry.